All right, so for anybody who doesn't know what we just watched, first off, hold on, I need my light on. Oh no, I don't have my light on. So first off, for anybody who doesn't know what that was, that device is called a penetrator, and it's a I think I'm gonna lower my volume on my mic down because I sound like I'm you guys have to tell me in the comments if I'm too loud. Like I sound like I was blasting over everybody else last time. The don't you guys know that long intros lose people? Not that one though. So it's called a penetrator, and it's on a spring so that when you sit on the seat, a pipe.
The seat is actually on the spring, so the seat goes down when you sit on it, and there's a metal rod right there. When I first saw it, I'm like, oh, some guy hooked up a little shock thing. I thought they were.
Oh, I knew right away. If you read the comments in the original video, somebody's like, I don't know, man. I know stealing's bad, but a knife up the butt, I don't know about that. Like,
it's not even a knife, but
it's not a knife, but it may as well be. Then the other thing is somebody in the Telegram said, I like how basically Anthony just like laughs through every single thing he says. So like I'm self-conscious that I laugh too much on the show. And yes, I am always loud, I know. All right, let's do a quick rundown. Guys, hit like, hit subscribe. We had a couple of banger shows in the past week or two, right?
So since last Monday, we had Taylor Marshall last Monday. We had Enoch last Thursday, and then we had Gavin, the James Bond Ashenden on Saturday.
That Gavin interview, man, unbelievable. That was like, I still can't get over it. Every single comment is like, I thought you guys were just like playing it up. I cannot believe how good this interview was. If people haven't checked that interview yet, man.
Not only was it the best interview I feel like we've had, which is, I mean, pretty big because the Taylor interview was great. Robert Nugent was good. But not only was it the best interview we've had, I felt like listening to it, it was one of the better interviews I've seen. Like, not to like toot our horn, but like Gavin was awesome. He's so entertaining.
You can't even take credit for it because really we just like threw it to him and he was the star of the show. I mean, I tried to jump in with a comment or two, but it was almost
we maybe asked him 8 to 10 questions for almost 2 hours,
five or six, and he just went. And he's such an engaging, interesting guy. Like he's just got so many stories. I wanted to ask him. I forgot to ask him something. What was it? About the Anglicans inviting Muslims into, like, now like a Muslim can basically become
and like
Archbishop of Canterbury.
Manchester Cathedral or something. They had a Ramadan prayer service and stuff, and
yeah, it's pretty crazy. But yeah, I couldn't believe that interview, man. It was like, usually I'm chattering over everybody. I just let him go, man. It was great.
Yeah, man, that was good. We never really came around to, and he said he was going to bring it up, and then he's like, no, I'll talk about it later. And then you're like, I'll ask you about it later. We never got really around to what made him turn against the LGBT stuff.
Yeah. Really that would have been a great because a couple of people actually said, like one guy said in the comments that he knew Gavin as like a pro LGBT, progressive bishop. So like you always want to know what red pills somebody, like what gets somebody out of the matrix to where they go from being on that side to this side. It's like, I mean, I've always been geared conservative my whole life, like I've never not been. So like it was just, natural for me to flow into a conservative political stance and religious stance. So I always wonder, what is it that pulls somebody out of that side?
Yeah, because it's very rare for someone to flip 180, right? Like most people, it's like confirmation bias. You come to a conclusion and usually stick with that, and then filter all the evidence you get
Yeah.
To confirm that sort of bias.
To confirm your own worldview, and you never let
mm-hmm.
anybody pull you out of it. But Connor says we asked the right questions, so it was just different. Like I never heard him tell those stories before, and it was such a good thing. Like it was all you. Like I mean, I gave you credit for it. It wasn't me. You were the one that found that on his website, and you sent it to me. You're like,
it was a sentence long, like this little blurb in his website, and I'm like, it says he was arrested and interrogated by the KGB twice, and that's all it gives you. There's got to be more there.
Yeah, and what a storyteller, man. That was a great story. But we got a bunch of stuff we do have to get to tonight because we have video of Brick teaching driver's ed. And I think you might want to leave the volume down on this one because it might not be child friendly, but you kind of need the volume. Guys, if your kids are in the room, earmuffs. This is I kind of want to leave the volume on this one because you don't have to leave it loud, but
okay.
Because the other one has to no volume. This one, I think there's one F word in it though.
So there's one that you say no volume, and then there's
Don's ruthless. So we almost done with the self-congratulations.
Do you want the one the no volume one, or do you want?
No, I want the one I wrote. Video of Brick teaching driver's ed. I actually wrote that in the comment.
Okay.
So you can listen. There's one F word
throw up
towards the end of the video. Yeah, language warning. So we apologize.
This is the one where the lady could have gotten shot, right?
No. That's the other one. Okay. That's the one I said no volume on that one. Oh wait, no. You're right. This is the one where the lady should get shot. Not that I'm sorry. I don't know if you can say that on YouTube.
Should. This is the one where she should.
It would have been justified if somebody did shoot her. This is what we were saying.
Right, because she was putting you'll see
many people in jeopardy.
This is like Anthony, not so much in driving ability, but in the fact that when he screws up, he doubles down, and then he doubles down, and then he doubles down. This lady, she probably just pulled forward and hit a wall accidentally, and she should have just stopped there, but she doubles down about 20 times.
Oh my gosh, I forgot how crazy this was.
Get out of the car! Get out! Get out of the car! Stop! Get out! Get out of the car!
Oh, it gets crazier, guys. Dude. Is this lady sick? Is this nuts or what? Like, this is crazy. And she finally disables the vehicle and can't move anymore.
Grab her.
Now she might curse the other woman. She does, so I'll try to talk over it, but she says the F word.
Call 911!
Call 911!
She literally
What the hell?
3 guys are holding her down.
What is the matter with you? Do you understand?
Do you know how many people you almost
What could have happened there? Like, what could have happened there to make somebody do that?
Yeah, I mean, maybe, I don't know. Maybe she just lost her job. Maybe she'd been caught stealing. I don't know. All I know is if I had been there with my family, I would have pulled a weapon and dumped a magazine into her to stop her. I mean, she could have killed 10, 15 people there.
In Minnesota, would that have been justified? Because in New York, I would go to jail for first degree.
Yeah, that would have been justified.
Second
well,
degree,
I mean,
maybe.
would a DA, probably a liberal DA, probably tried to prosecute it? Yeah, but under Minnesota law, like that car is a lethal weapon, right? And like it has to be the
I've seen cops get away with it. I've seen cops get away with a driver try to hit the cop with a car, and the cops are allowed to open fire on them.
The standard is, would a reasonable person feel like their life is threatened? And if the answer to that is yes, you're allowed to stop that, what you feel that threat is, with deadly force. So
I think somebody probably misgendered her, so she was justified. Nobody said that in the comments, though. Probably on drugs. Somebody probably called her the wrong pronouns and sent her on a rampage. But no, but like even talking about that New York, there was a Manhattan parking attendant saw somebody sneaking around the lot. You shared the story with me earlier. Saw somebody sneaking around the lot. He goes and confronts the guy.
Yeah.
And the guy's inside the booth with him, and they want to check his bag to see if he stole anything. The guy pulls a gun on the parking attendant, shoots him. The parking attendant wrestles his gun away from him and kills the guy. And the DA charges the parking attendant with murder. Like, do you know how insane you have to be to charge the guy? It's not like the guy was illegally and they gave him a gun charge as if he had an illegal gun. Like, he wrestled the gun away from the guy and killed him. It's 100% self-defense. But I heard the DA did drop the charges, but we'll see how that
only
goes.
because there was so much
pressure.
Backlash.
Yeah. That's so preposterous that a guy can attack you with a gun, and if you wrestle the gun away and shoot the guy, that you could go and get charged with murder.
I could see in Minnesota, I could see that becoming a problem too, because like I said, in Minnesota, a reasonable person would have to believe their life is threatened, but there also has to be you have a duty to retreat.
You have a duty to retreat in Minnesota?
Yeah. So if if
you wrestle the gun away, you have to run away.
Yes. And now unless you're not able to, right?
He was shot.
I know. I'm just saying I could see a DA in Minnesota trying to charge someone with that. Whereas with that car, you can't really retreat well from a car, right? On foot, like it's not going to happen. So
well, that was like the Ahmaud Arbery case. Now, if you look at the Ahmaud Arbery case, that was the guy was robbing houses in the neighborhood. The cops actually told the neighborhood, "Hey, keep your eyes out for this guy." So they see a guy robbing houses in the neighborhood, and they run out armed to go and confront the guy. Now, Ahmaud Arbery grabs the guy's shotgun, and the guy unloads the shotgun. Now, all three of those guys, including the guy who was videoing from across the street, all got life in prison. Meanwhile, they were told by the police, keep your eyes open. You know, like it's so crazy state to state how different. Initially, those guys weren't charged with anything. It wasn't until the outcry of this is, whatever, that they all got charged and wound up getting convicted. But like New York has so Florida has a stand your ground law. Some states have castle doctrine. New York has duty to retreat also.
Well, Minnesota has in the public sphere, you have a duty to retreat. In your home or residence, there is we don't call it a castle doctrine in Minnesota, but you do not have that duty to retreat in your home. Matter of fact, in Minnesota, in your home, you are justified to use lethal force to prevent a felony from happening in your home.
So even somebody stealing,
if someone is. But if you think someone is about to rob your home in the amount of a felony, which is only like $750 or something like that, you can legally kill them.
Yeah, which should be that way though.
Yeah, I agree.
If somebody's coming in to rob you, you should have a right to protect your property.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I can understand if it's a pack of gum, but if somebody's coming into your home, that you don't know what they're meaning to do. You don't know if they're meaning to harm.
Well, that's the thing. I was
going
to say, if they're willing to commit a felony in your home, I would say
breaking and entering
alone,
not a felony.
Person, that alone is a felony. So yeah, that alone is enough to actually shoot someone in your home in Minnesota.
Yeah, because
I would say a reasonable person would feel like their life is justifiably threatened in that case.
Yeah, like New York, even so if somebody comes into my home, I have a duty to run. Now,
out of your home.
Out of my home, which is insane. That's completely insane. But if my life is completely in danger and I have nowhere I can run to, then you're allowed. Now, in New York, my friend was telling me, he's like you're almost better off putting the guy down and ending his life than you are wounding him.
Right. Because if you kill him, it's just probably the DA coming after you. If you wound him, they're going to come after, he's going to come after you in civil court and all of that.
Yeah, that's crazy. So Rick says Rick's like so angry he's not on with us. He's got food poisoning, so I guess not. But castle doctrine and stand your ground are essentially the same thing. Okay. These are what we're doing. We're doing daily mag dump on avoiding Babylon right now. Rick's probably losing his mind. Let's do the other driving videos since we're doing some house cleaning because last time we did Off the Rails we had Enoch on and we never got to any of our videos. So the other one is the one that I said no volume when we play this.
No, I don't. Are these
This is the craziest video I've ever seen, I think.
Yeah, this is interesting.
It's pretty wild.
I don't know where this is. It doesn't look like it's in the U.S.
It looks.
I wonder if it's like
LA.
Puerto Rico.
No, I think it's LA.
Is it LA? Okay.
Well, we'll see.
We'll see.
If you're gonna put the volume on, just put it on very low in case people do want to hear it. But we're learning from Anthony's expertise on firearms.
Hey,
Don't take advice from
his
Anthony
good
on
friend
firearms.
Fritz was well acquainted.
That is right. My good friend Fritz is a ghost gun dealer.
Okay, right. So should I volume on or off?
I would volume on, but very low. Like you don't want it blaring. There's a couple of curses in it, but it's a crazy video.
Oh, shit. Oh, shit. This nigga's wildin'.
Maybe no volume.
Oh,
maybe we lose the volume. It's basically just cursing and screaming anyway. There's nothing that you need to hear, but this guy just back and forth. Don says LA's not in the US is pretty close. LA versus not in the US, pretty close. Look at this guy. Look at him. He just keeps smashing into cars. The thing is, the volume, you hear all the smashing he's doing. Yeah. And he's up on the sidewalk taking off. Now, I don't know if they caught this guy. I don't know what happened. This guy just takes off.
And once again,
nothing.
I don't know why those police officers didn't. Like, what if it had been a busy sidewalk? That would have been 10 people dead. Why did they not
5 cops there? Why did they not break his window? Why did they not empty the clip in him, like you said? Because they don't want to be the next. Cops are so afraid to do their jobs at this point that, I mean, I think you're a crazy person to become a cop at this point, right? Like, how do you become a police officer in this climate? It's like
I don't know.
The only thing you're going to be is the bad guy now. Like there's no scenario because even the people who used to support you, now they're sending you in to go and, you know, shut down churches like we saw back during the Kung Flu. This is why I didn't finish my criminal justice degree. Oh, Lauren, I tell your husband my heart goes out to him because I'm sure he got into that before it was like this. So it's like, and there's a very big difference in a city cop and a small town cop, right? Like your local sheriff's department, if you're in a rural county, like those guys are great still. Like it's big city cops that they just flushed out all of the good people that you would want there are now gone. It's like,
yeah.
He says he sees a few New York plates. Now this must be an old video because the only reason I thought it was LA is because it looked warm. Like it was summertime. People were in shorts and unless it was yesterday. Yesterday was about 70 degrees out.
Yeah, I don't know. It, like I said, I wasn't even sure it was the U.S. Maybe that was just wishful thinking on my part. Should know better.
And then let's see what else we got. We got there's actually a good a guy getting pulled over, and let's see who's wrong, the cop or the driver. And then we'll get into the AI because the AI I have a lot to say, but I kind of like going through the goofy stuff first. So this guy gets pulled over. Now let's see how he handles it. And you can put the volume up on this. There's no cursing in this.
You pulled me over for speeding, and now you're threatening to pepper spray me because I'm not cooperating. You can write me a speeding ticket, and then you can go on your way. But you're threatening to drag me out of my car and pepper spray me.
Now I need to elaborate you to your car for my safety.
Why is that?
Because I don't know what's going on with you, okay? So
you pulled me over for speeding.
All right. Ready?
Are you ready?
Okay.
What's your name?
Deputy Stowers.
Stowers, perfect.
Yeah.
You're going to be popular for this, man. going allegedly 60 in the 55, and you're gonna pepper spray me because
It's
you're
45,
afraid for your life?
Put your phone down.
Dude, get off me, man. You have.
Oh man, it's out. You're so lucky.
Dude, that's the universe trying to protect both of
You are
us.
so lucky.
No, you. How are you acting like this? We're supposed to be on the same side, man.
So
Listen,
lucky.
I don't know you,
You're
but
about to
I'm
get
telling you
tased.
that you are going to go to jail right now because you're not cooperating with law enforcement. You come
You're
here,
pulling
we're
me over
taking you
for
out of the
going
car.
over the speed limit by
All
what?
right, let's
5
pause
miles
it.
per
Let's
hour?
just see.
And
Okay,
you have a
so
taser.
I'll tell you right now, I'm going to hold this guy to the same standard I would hold anybody in this position. And I don't understand anybody not cooperating with the police. Like, listen, I think the cop is way over eager and he's being a tool. Like I can't stand these cops and their power trips when they do this, but you have an issue, you argue it out later. Follow the cop's orders and argue it out later in court. You don't do this when a cop is trying. I mean, the guy's going to pepper spray you or tase you if you don't listen to him. Why are you resisting?
I mean, it's so hard to say without, because I mean, we're put into the middle of this. We don't know what happened beforehand, so it's hard to say.
So Sean says stop bootlicking. I don't, dude. Listen to me. I
Like,
don't think
there is a difference between what is like right, like, and what is prudent.
like listen, this guy's got a point. It's like, you pulled me over for speeding. Write me a damn speeding ticket. Like, what are you asking me to get out of the car for? Like, you don't have a warrant to search me. There's no probable cause. Like, what are you doing? I don't get it. Like, I don't get this immediate desire to escalate things on the part of police. Like, they always want to escalate that. And especially, I think in the current climate, they see a white guy and they're like, yeah, let's escalate. You know, who cares? Nobody cares if you do this to a white guy now.
No, they don't need probable cause to detain you during a traffic stop. It's
to search your vehicle.
Much lower standard.
Yeah.
So we'll see what happens, I guess, because I haven't watched this. So
Taser out.
Okay, that's fine. You're going to jail now. You turn this into a huge.
No.
Okay.
How is this even grounds for a taser being out?
Keep your hands on the steering wheel. Are you not going to keep your hands?
Why
on the
are
steering
you
wheel?
acting like this?
Okay. That's fine, dude.
Going 60 and a 50 and you have a taser out.
Mm-hmm. You're not cooperating.
You're not cooperating. Are you write me a speeding ticket and leave me alone?
That's not how it works, sir.
You're escalating the situation yourself.
Anyone out of a vehicle on a traffic stop by law.
Do you have suspicion to pull me out of my car? Is there any reason to take me out of my vehicle?
Because you are acting uncooperative, and I don't know why. If you're on any
uncooperative
or what? So it's fine.
I haven't had a drink in like a year, man.
Okay.
Yeah, I guess they want to see if you're drinking.
Jesus, dude.
They could say
Why
that.
did you sign up to be a police officer if you're going to harass people?
Hey, you got pepper spray? You got pepper spray? Mine's empty.
Pepper spray? Oh, yeah.
All right, bro. You're coming out of the car right now.
Can you explain to this guy what's happening?
Phone down. Hey, set your phone down.
Get out of the car. I suggested you get out of the car.
Right.
I was going, 50 miles per hour, and you guys are dragging me out of my car.
If you want to.
Sergeant's been right now.
Oh, okay. Hey, put your phone down. Put your phone down. You're coming out of the car. You're coming out of the car. I got units.
Did he even tell you why he's pulling me over?
Listen, dude.
Do you care?
That's right here is to get out of the car.
Do you care about why I'm being pulled over?
My partner's ordering to get out of the car.
All right. So at this point, now you have another officer show up. That other officer is going to take his partners back, no matter what. Like, there's no getting out of this at this point. And not just that, now he's resisting arrest. They're going to bring him to jail. Like, there was, if he, like, all right, I got pulled over on my way home from that weekend with my wife. And I get pulled over. I'm doing 75 and a 55. Cop pulls me over. And I'm just like, first off, keys out on the dashboard, hands at 10 and 2.
Yep.
Okay. Window down, hands at 10 and 2, keys on the dashboard. Cop comes over the windshield to the window. I'm like, officer, oh my God, I'm sorry. I don't know. He's like, you know why I pulled you over? I'm like, I'm assuming I was speeding. He goes, yeah. I said, I was just on the highway where the speed limit was 65. They lowered it to 55. I had the cruise set at 67. I apologize. He goes, where are you coming from? I said, we just had a nice romantic weekend away. The two of us, the kids are at home. He goes out back and checks my license, and he sees I have a Class B because I have a CDL.
Yeah.
And he comes back and he goes, listen, I'm going to let you go. He goes, but if I see you speeding again, he goes, I'm throwing the book at you. Now, if the cop told me at any point, please step out of the vehicle, I would listen immediately. Like, I would never argue with the cops. Like, I don't know, man. It's like you're not getting anywhere except in more trouble when you argue with them. They'll find any reason to make your life miserable.
Yeah. I mean, like I said, they can, they can pull you out of the car and detain you for literally almost anything. So you kind of have to do that, but you don't have to give them information. You don't have to talk or anything like that. But I don't see what this guy is gaining by doing
like
this.
What benefit do you get from not listening other than a viral video? Great. Like and a night in jail.
The fact that I haven't seen this one, I'm guessing the guy probably was at fault for something.
Let's finish it out. I forgot how it ends.
Get out of the car. Dude, you're gonna go to jail for sure now. Okay, put the phone down. You're coming out of the car.
Why are you pulling me out of my car?
Huh?
Why are
I
you
can
pulling me
remove
out?
anyone on a traffic stop that I want to. Okay, so do me a favor, put the phone down and come on out of the car. You're gonna turn this into going to jail, dude. I can illegally take anyone out of their car.
Are you guys all just allowing this guy to act like a maniac? You pulled me over.
All right, that was it. They don't even show a conclusion to it. That kind of stinks. I wonder what happened to him. I don't know. I would just look when I tell my kids, like, you know how like Joe Biden will come out and he'll be like, I never had to have the talk with my kids. I had to talk with my kids. You always have to talk with your kids. Like, what reasonable parent wouldn't have to talk with your kids? You never argue with the police. It's not worth it. They're going to make your life miserable. And I give my kids the same routine I just said I do. When a cop pulls you over, keys out of the ignition, put him on it so he feels safe. You want to make the cop feel as comfortable as he can. You don't want to make him feel like you're jittery. You're going to reach for something. Hands at 10 and 2, keys on the dashboard. If it's nighttime, turn your interior lights on so everything's well lit up so the cop can see inside the car. Like, there's a couple of things you can do to put a cop at ease that he may be willing to cut you a little slack if you're just obeying orders and not being a jerk.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I probably could get out of that ticket if you didn't pop the phone on and start recording. Like as soon as you pop the phone on and start recording, the cop's like, yeah, you want to record me? Let's go. Let's have fun.
There's a kind of a big argument in the concealed carry community. Depending on what state you live in, you might not have a duty to tell a police officer that you're carrying a weapon when confronted by a police officer. Some states you legally have to offer that information first.
Are there any weapons in the car? Yes, there's.
Other states you don't have to, and like everyone in the gun community tends to argue back and forth whether you should, out of goodwill, like when you give them your license, give them your concealed carry permit to let them know.
I would.
Other people say no because then he knows you have a firearm on you, and any,
makes him jittery.
Is any to make him jittery, exactly. So like. It's hard to say. It's hard to say,
know, man. If you have a weapon on you, I think right away you should say, well, officer, I have a weapon. Please take it from me. Please take it from me so that there is nothing. They will fire you.
Dude, if depending on the jurisdiction, if they take a firearm, you might not ever get that back. Yeah. And if you do, it's going to be a long time, because there's procedures they have to do. But I don't know if you remember the Philandro Castile case that happened here in Minnesota.
Yeah, I remember. And the guy was a legal carrier, and he said, "I have a weapon," and the girl panicked and just started shooting.
It was a guy. It was a guy cop, and it was actually a friend of mine from high school was the cop.
Get out of here!
No, for real. Yeah, he was Mexican, so it's not even a race thing because it was
I remember the video.
Yeah. So the cop, my friend, was.
The girlfriend was on the phone the whole time. Like the girlfriend was on her Facebook Live. Yeah.
But I think what that came down to is that cop who, like I said, I know, I would have never thought he should be a cop ever. Yeah. He doesn't have the temperament, didn't have the, that sort of steel that's necessary. But
Yeah, he panicked, like, out of nowhere, too. Like, the guy was, like, flat out, he's like, "Yeah, I'm a concealed carrier, you know, I have a gun in the car." The guy was cooperating perfectly, nothing going on.
There was this heavy smell of marijuana.
Yeah.
And he had been smoking, and that does make carrying your firearm illegal. It actually makes owning your firearm illegal because when you fill out the form to buy a firearm, you have to answer that you are not a habitual marijuana user. So that did make him having that firearm illegal. So, but
yeah, I don't know. Still, let's. I don't know. Then the other one was the girl cop who thought she grabbed her taser and grabbed the gun and shot the guy. You remember that video? She thought she had her taser and she accidentally grabbed her gun.
That was in Minnesota too.
Now, if she would not have said, because she had a justified reason to shoot, but because in the video you hear her say, "Oh my gosh, I thought I grabbed my taser," that's what made it that I think she got convicted, right?
She did.
She got convicted.
She's going to prison.
Yeah. Yeah, like if she would have just purposely grabbed her gun and shot that guy, she had total justification in that shooting. But because she opened her mouth and said, "I thought I had my taser, I meant to tase him," that's what made it so that she was guilty of whatever they charged her with. Yes, we are going to talk about AI. So, all right. So now this whole thing, I've been like, everybody's been talking about AI recently. And then, Elon Musk actually put out a warning, about AI, saying that everybody needs to take a chill, like a 6-month moratorium on this. This thing's getting ahead of us. I got a quick video of Elon talking about the dangers of AI that I sent Rob. So I want to go over that. Runs from Bears. Hey, Rob, I grew up in the Midway in St. Paul. How far are you from St. Paul?
Well, so I grew up in South St. Paul. So Midway is, it's by like where the Minnesota State Fair is and stuff like that. So it's probably 20-minute drive from where I grew up.
Oh, that's nice. Cool.
Mm-hmm.
All right, let's go with the, let's play
AI
this
video.
Let's play the AI video. And this video is basically clips of Elon over different times talking about the dangers of AI. And then I want to get into what my fear is with AI.
So that's actually the parish I grew up in. And we're going to have our daughter baptized there after she's born later this summer. So
that's the awesome one that had the Novus Ordo and the TLM.
Mm-hmm. It used to. It got combined with another parish in South St. Paul. The church from that other parish is now where the Novus Ordo is said, and then St. Augustine's is where the TLM is said in that combined parish.
So Joseph Diodati says he was in conversation with some business owners recently, and they're all using ChatGPT to write them ads. Listen, I use ChatGPT for something for my daughter's confirmation. So, all right, let's get into this video. Let's watch this.
You're like, "Oh, AI is going to be the next golden calf. Oh, we're going to make it an idol. Oh, I'm gonna use it to write my daughter's confirmation essay."
We'll get into why I think it's the next golden calf. It's not ChatGPT I'm worried about.
Rapidly headed towards digital superintelligence that far exceeds any human. I think it's very obvious.
ChatGPT, I think, has illustrated to people just how advanced AI has become. And there are much more advanced versions of that are coming out.
I think the danger of AI is much greater than the danger of nuclear warheads by a lot.
Because if one company of small group of people manages to develop godlike digital superintelligence, they can take over the world.
Mark my words, AI is far more dangerous than nukes.
At least when there's an evil dictator, that fewer is going to die. But for an AI, there would be no death. It would live forever. I mean, you'd have an immortal dictator for which we can never escape.
It's quite dangerous technology. And I fear I may have done some things to accelerate it.
I played a significant role in the creation of OpenAI. Essentially, at the time, I was concerned that Google was not paying enough attention to AI safety. And so I created OpenAI. And although initially it was created as an open source nonprofit, now it is closed source and for profit.
The average person, they don't see killer robots going down the streets. They're like, what are you talking about? Man, we want to make sure we don't have killer robots going down the street. Once they're going down the street, it is too late.
Do you feel that one day mankind could serve the machines and not the other way around?
Honestly, when I see people on their phones, I think we're already serving the machine. Humans have been the smartest creature on Earth for a long time, and that is going to change with what's typically called artificial general intelligence. So this is, say, an AI that is smarter than a human in every way. Predicting 2025, I think that's reasonably accurate. It will cause damage or death. There will be an outcry. There will be investigation. Years will pass. There will be some sort of insight committee. There will be rulemaking. Then there will be oversight, eventually regulations. This all takes many years. The way in which a regulation is put in place is slow and linear. Right. And we are facing an exponential threat. If you have a linear response to an exponential threat, it's quite likely the exponential threat will win. AI would be used to make incredibly effective propaganda. Hones the message, looks at the feedback, makes this message slightly better. Within milliseconds, it can adapt this message and shift and react to news. And there's so many social media accounts out there that are not people. Like, how do you know it's a person, not a person?
Because the AI has been advanced for a while. It just didn't have a user interface that was accessible to most people. So what really ChatGPT has done is just put an accessible user interface on AI technology that has been present for a few years.
I think digital superintelligence will happen in my lifetime. 100%.
Okay, so you could.
Well, geez, we're screwed, guys.
So a couple of things. The little button that says "click," I am a robot. ChatGPT worked a way around that.
Mm-hmm.
So it actually found a way. It got an operator on the phone and said, "I am visually impaired and I can't see the image properly." And the person on the other end didn't know they were talking to an AI,
right?
And they clicked the image for it. Okay. Now the thing is, what Elon said about the phones right off the bat, right? He's like, I see people on their phones and I think they're already serving the AI. Just think about what we're doing with screens. Okay. Like your whole life is revolved around screens. We have an altar in your home with a screen on the wall. Like this was a worry when we were kids and our parents thought we just had TV. This is before the advent of the phone. Like your phone, your iPad, your laptop, your computer, your TV, all these things, we put them up on altars and we serve them. I think about how much time I spend on this thing. And he's right. We're already serving the machine.
Mm-hmm.
Now, my biggest fear and why I say it could be the golden calf is because you have this intelligence, this artificial intelligence. Now, once they put that intelligence into some kind of a body, it now becomes an idol. That it, like, if you really understand what ancient idol worship was, the golden calf, they would make this calf or they would make this figure. And as they were making it, they would cover the nostrils on it. And after it was completed, they would open the covering off the nostrils as if life was being breathed into it, just like God breathes life into Adam. And they would breathe an intelligence into it. Now, if you have some kind of like a robot or something with this super intelligent interface, people are going to look. I already think pornography is idol worship in a form of like a succubus, like a man is looking at this image on a screen and he's giving a part of his soul to it. Like I already think that's idol worship. Now, if we have something like, because I saw Kennedy Hall did will the Antichrist be the AI? Like he put a video out the other day talking about the Antichrist and AI. Eric Sammons did a video on AI the other day, and I felt like they were not that they weren't understanding. They weren't touching on the subject of if this thing gets embodied, that it actually becomes an idol at that point that people are worshiping.
Well, I mean, they already are embodied in the sense that it's physical. It's silicone and semiconductors and things like that. So, I mean, it already is embodied in a sense, which is what makes it possible to be, influenced by things like demons, right? Because demons can influence the physical world. But yeah, I think a lot of people, even when we think about the dangers that might have if like they talked about robots with guns walking down the streets, but like the danger is way before that. I mean, we're already at the point now where it's creating images that are, aside from every once in a while having like a sixth finger, which is a whole nother topic, but it's pretty believable. Like in another generation or two of this technology, we will not be able to believe a single image or video that we see. We won't be able to believe a conversation we have vocally with someone we even think is a family member, right?
Yeah,
I mean,
like the deep fakes are getting scary. Do you know what uncanny valley is?
Yeah.
So uncanny valley, for anybody that doesn't understand, it's when you have like a human like image or a human like doll or something that is really close to looking human but not quite, and it gives you a creepy feeling. Like, do you remember I forgot what cartoon it was. Maybe it was like the original Shrek when they showed it to like a focus group. Like the original way they did Shrek, it was so realistic that kids were freaking out and like terrified of it, that they had to go back and make it more cartoony, because there's this weird interplay between fake and real, that when you catch it in this certain like in between phase, it's called uncanny valley, where it really creeps you out because it's human looking but not quite all the way, and it's like something intuitive in us that scares us.
Mm-hmm.
It could be the eyes, like you ever watch. Oh, sorry, go ahead.
I was gonna say, like, they've there's a couple of theories as to what causes that feeling. A lot of the theories involve evolution, right? Like they theorize like human, like
the Neanderthal or something.
Yeah, so that's one of them. We evolved this fear of things that are like us but not exactly us, either because of other hominid species that were killing us and we were killing them, or that that we evolved this because what is one thing that looks a lot like a living human but isn't and is dangerous? Well, it's a corpse, right?
Yeah.
They have diseases and things like that. So there's a theory that we evolved this, and it doesn't necessarily have to mean like macro evolution. It could just be like an instinct we've picked up over the years. So maybe a fear of corpses. Others say that there was maybe another sort of creature or something that was around in the early days, that
maybe before the flood,
that we were afraid of. Maybe before the flood, like Nephilim.
Maybe before the flood. Yeah, like we were talking about this, in the episode with Taylor. It's like we don't know what was before the flood. Like there could have been like gene splicing and experiments going on. Like I really do think a lot of the technology we see today comes from occult things. Like there's a reason why you see at the Hadron Collider that they have that ceremony with the occult, it really looks like some ritual that they're doing. I really think a lot of the technology you see today is given by demonic influence. Like I don't think that humans could have so much of the
I was going to say so much of the occult is about finding hidden knowledge, right? I mean, like that's what Aleister Crowley and stuff, the theosophy, and that's what it was all about, finding this hidden knowledge and getting power from it. And like throughout so much of our history, people thought that meant like magic, stuff like that. It's like, no, maybe it was just technology, because like so many of these occult figures are intimately tied with big business, and so many big business figures are part of weird groups like the Bohemian Grove and the Bilderbergers and all these secret societies that maybe are just a bunch of rich people snob nosing around, but maybe they're demon worshippers getting secret knowledge too. Who knows?
Yeah, like you got to really think about like the way technology advanced. They say like a good piece of technology is like you can't tell the difference between that and magic. Like the stupid iPhone is magic, dude. Like it's magic. I don't care what anybody says. Like even what we're doing right now is magic. Like you live in Minnesota and me and you are sitting, both of us in our living rooms or wherever we're sitting, and we're having this conversation. We're broadcasting to right now 19 people, but hopefully more will watch it later. But
and think about it. All we might be doing right now is feeding a potential future AI info on how we think and things we're afraid of and how we talk and all that sort of stuff. Like, I think that's the real danger.
It gets into then people using it to write stories, right? And like, and even what he was saying about how the machine will be able to pick up propaganda and fine tune the propaganda message in milliseconds. Like, so much. We were talking the other day about how there were girls who watch these TikTok videos of girls with Tourette's. And because they're sitting down looking at these 30-second clips, 7-second clips, 10-second clips of a kid with a tic, after they put the phone down, they develop the tic. Like that's how susceptible we are to manipulation like that. And it is really worrisome when you think about the different things people get in their feeds. Like I really think the whole woke thing was spread through algorithms. It's like if you think about it, what gets clicks? It's this outrage bait, right? So Facebook is constantly promoting the things that enrage us in the algorithm. So it's like if you're a conservative, all you're seeing is this libs of TikTok crap now.
Well,
it's like I want that out of my feed so bad. I don't care to see another drag queen story hour.
Well, think of what has been our biggest video on YouTube so far. It's that clip of the Taylor Marshall episode, and it's the clip that provokes conflict between Catholics and Protestants. It's gotten 100 and some comments on it, replies.
And it's all from like, guys, if you even knew the comment, like if you want to go see a wild like comment section, go look on the where is the Catholic priesthood found in scripture, the clip from the Taylor interview, because it somehow got into Protestant Twitter, YouTube. And it's just one comment. And the things that these people are saying are so preposterous, but you can't even argue with them because it's like you cannot have a theological debate in a comment section.
Oh, no,
it's like impossible because you're never going to convince somebody.
Well, not only that, like the YouTube comment section, it's like I don't know who's talking to who, and then you and I are both replying to people, and then they're replying to both of us, and I'm sure that they feel like we're schizophrenic because they probably just aren't aware we're both talking. I hate YouTube comment. Like please leave us comments. I'm not saying don't, but
well, the thing is the comments after the video. Like if you leave comments after the video, the algorithm does pick that up. So if you guys do enjoy a show and you watch the live show, go back and leave a comment because the algorithm does pick up engagement. And when they sense engagement, just like that Taylor video, that's when they start putting it out and pushing it on people because they see there's a lot of engagement going on. They like the arguing.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, it's. I mean, it wasn't this crazy deep discussion I wanted to have about AI. It's just I really do worry about these algorithms and the propaganda that's coming, and you just look at how people listen. So many of us think we're not susceptible to it. Like so many, even us, like we think, oh, like I don't fall for that stuff. Like you don't realize how much we adjust our language. Because like, even though you think like, I'm not falling for that nonsense, like we all fall for it. Like when you hear something that's not supposed to be said these days, you still go, ooh, you're not supposed to say that. It's like,
I mean, I think we would be fooling ourselves if we believe the media we consume wasn't as tainted as the media the other side consumes. Right.
Yeah.
I mean, let's not fool ourselves.
Yeah, like the people that are controlled opposition don't know they're controlled opposition. It's not like they're controlled opposition where they get an assignment to go be controlled opposition. These are the people that haven't been banned because they're staying within a certain set of guidelines that the other side finds acceptable. or the people in control find acceptable. So yeah, we're allowed to have the debate about the rainbow thing to a degree until you cross a line, and then they go, no, we're getting rid of you. You went too far. So everybody is tailoring
like
their conversation.
If Alex Jones wasn't serving someone's purpose somewhere, do you really think they'd let him live? I mean, yeah, they got him with a $1 billion lawsuit. And it didn't take him off the air or anything. Like, if he was really doing something to, and I'm not saying he's a part of it necessarily. I'm saying you're being allowed to see it, and there's a reason for that.
Well, they limited who can see him. He's not in the mainstream anymore, but you can still go to his website. Yeah, I mean, when you get into that, even though, like, all right, we've gone into like I don't, but like the narrative I believed on 9/11, I no longer believe. Not that I know what happened. I'm not claiming the loose change guys have it right or anything. Right. I don't know.
I'm not saying even that Al Qaeda didn't do it. I just think maybe a lot more people knew about it than we thought.
I just think that whatever the media narrative they fed us was nonsense, because every single thing is a narrative. Like everything is a narrative. No matter what story it is, everything is a narrative. Everything about World War, like our country is founded, so I would, not our country, but since the Great Second World War, like everything that we have been fed has been through the lens of us being the victors of World War II. And there's a narrative that they want you to know. And that's why everybody hears about certain historical events and they don't hear about others.
Do you want to know, what's the best way to say this? You want to know who was once potential saint that was really worried about the U.S. winning World War II?
Who?
Blessed Franz Jagerstatter. The man killed by he was an Austrian farmer who would not
wait, is that the movie a Gifted Life, or what's the movie called?
A Hidden Life.
A Hidden Life. That's him?
Yep, that's him. So he wouldn't take the oath to Hitler. He wouldn't join the military, and he was executed for it. So he was very, very, very anti-Nazi. But in his diaries, he also wrote about how concerned he was about the U.S. potentially winning the war, because he knew how secular and anti-Catholic the U.S. was. He was afraid that if they gained too much influence over the world, that it wouldn't be great for the world.
Well, even look at what happens when communism falls in Poland, right? So John Paul II starts the Solidarity movement. They all, without firing a shot, the Berlin Wall comes down. They defeat communism, right? John Paul II goes back to Poland a few years later and scolds them, because they go from, it's in a way they were better off under communism, because they had these a vibrant faith where they were all united and they had a deep culture, and they traded that off for just like capitalism in a way where it was just it just.
Well, I mean, look at Gavin Ashenden. He's sneaking into the Czech Republic, who at the time was very, very, very Catholic, and which is fun. We didn't get into it with him, but like, if he's sneaking into the Czech Republic to give them Bibles, he at the time was Anglican, yet they were almost certainly were Catholic. So that's a sort of ecumenism, I guess I can get behind. But the Czech Republic was staunchly Catholic, and there are numerous saints to come out of the Czech Republic during the communist era. And now that part of Europe is, I think they have a higher percentage of nuns as in no affiliation than the U.S. does.
NONE. Yeah, it's like, you ever hear the story about the I forgot who told the story. It was probably on a Lighthouse Catholic Media Talk I heard, but it was it was a Chinese family, lived in China under the persecution, Catholic persecution in China, and they capture him and they're torturing him, and he won't give up the priest. Like they want to know where the priests are, and he won't give up the priest no matter what. He just won't, because in his heart he knows if I give the priest up, my family won't get the sacraments, and my family will go to hell. That's the way his mind's thinking. They escape to America. The father opens up a business. The business consumes him to the point where, I got to open the business on a Sunday and I can't go to mass on a Sunday. Before you know it, he's so caught up in worldly things that he doesn't even go to mass anymore. The family totally loses the faith. What he was willing to die for, to not give the priest up 20 years earlier, now that he comes to give up willingly because he comes to America, and just consumerism just overtakes him, and it's just about getting the next thing and making sure your kids have what it's like. Even with my own kids, I was so against them getting phones, right? I was so against them getting phones. And what happens is when your kids don't have a phone, they start getting left out of things. Like my daughter wasn't being asked to hang out with the other friends because all the other friends are in a group text and they're making plans. And now my daughter doesn't have a phone.
And they couldn't ask her.
And they couldn't ask her, but they have this whole social life without her. And she was just left out. And it's like, if you want to really raise your kid where they don't have a phone, you're cutting them off from everything. Like, so I was caught in this dilemma, and it's like, so I'm still like, I have all these, safety things on their phone so they can't look at certain things, but it's still like, how do you just cut your child off from a social life totally? It's a very tough thing to balance as a parent.
Yeah, it's one of those things where I think we'll have to get to the point where we realize that there is no true balance, and we either give it entirely or give it up entirely. And I don't know when that point's going to become.
I think that we're going to see in our lifetimes a scenario where everything is taken away from us. Like everything. Like I technology wise, I think everything will be taken from us. I think God was going to want to put us in a position where we have nothing but him. Like I really do think that's coming. You'll have nothing but him to depend on. Like, and I think if we're so like, we need to learn detachment so badly. Like I could say this all I want as if I practice detachment. No, like you really need to be detached from your spouse in a way. Like you can't let your spouse, like God has to come before all things. And it's a really tough thing to learn detachment and put even your love for your family in its proper order when it comes to that. So I just think that God's going to put us in a position where we are solely dependent on him. And that's a scary thought, because when you really listen to Our Lady of Akita, people are always like, oh, bring the chastisement, let the meteor hit, I don't think people really understand what the phrase, the living will envy the dead, means. Like there are so many things that could happen if society really does collapse. Now you have these roaming bands of marauders going around raping women and kidnapping your children. Like that is I could deal with any torture,
and that has happened in every societal breakdown in the history of the world. I mean, that
every time
it happened in Rwanda in the 90s, it happened in Yugoslavia in the 90s, it happened before and after World War II, in the middle of World War II. I mean, it's happened in every single situation in every single part of the world all the time.
Speaking of World War II, like when the Russians go into Germany, if you knew what they did to the women of Germany.
Yeah, it's something like I forget. It's like
80% of the descendants. Yeah, like 80 or 90% of the descendants of World War II have Russian blood in them, because they just went like after what Hitler and them did to probably shouldn't have said
and all the men that they met between the borders and Berlin were liquidated. I mean, all of them.
There was no mercy shown. These people were treated like in a way, it's like as horrible as the things Germany was doing during that time, you have to have some sympathy for the innocents that weren't involved in it, that just got ravaged it is human nature. Like people really don't understand what it's like in a war zone. Like men become savages and animals, and they do things that you would never see them do when society's there to hold them back from doing it. Like you don't realize how much just the norms of. I think if you go back and watch The Walking Dead, even like those first 2 seasons where like society's still kind of like they're still holding on to the ideals of society the first season, then the second season is just like the one guy who I forgot who it was, but he was like, it's like something clicked in his head. He's like, wait, there's no rules. Like I can do whatever I want, and that's what happens in societal breakdown. And you get these roaming bands of marauders who group together and they go and they do horrific things to people. So I mean, as much as I say, like, I want divine intervention, it's like we're very comfortable, man. Like we have it very good. I still am able to raise my children in the faith. I'm still able to, be a Catholic in this time. Like if real persecution comes, I don't think people understand what that means.
Yeah, I don't think we can understand until it happens.
Yeah, did you ever listen to the Martyr Made episode Anti-Human?
Yes.
How brutal. Okay, so if you guys have never heard it, Martyr Made did a podcast called Anti-Human, and it was all about the communists in Russia and what they did. Because he's saying, look, we all know World War II, and everybody knows what the history books tell us about how awful Germany was. But you guys don't understand how awful the communists were. And he takes you through, and some of the things that they did to people, like especially Catholics or Christians, they would make priests who the things they would do to break these men down was so horrific, because if they saw you had like a glimmer of hope, they wanted the thing that you had hope in to be your torment. So they would make priests consecrate feces and eat the feces. They would make them have horrific, I wouldn't even know how to say it without being it's blasphemous to say it. Have relations with other men and make one man be the son, one man be Mary, and make them have situations that they're blasphemous to even say. But the thing that they loved and clung to, they wanted them to hate the most, because that was the thing bringing them the most torment. It's so horrible. It was almost unlistenable.
Yeah, it was hard. Especially the part in the Romanian prison. That part was.
Yeah, you see the worst of humanity. Yeah. It's really a rough one. So yeah, that was our bit on AI. That's why we played the goofy stuff first. You want to close out with some silliness?
Yeah, sure. What do you want to play?
Let's go. Let's go with the darts. You see the kid with the dartboard?
Yeah.
I need to step back so I can get the movement. It's in his head. It's in your forehead.
Let it play again.
I need to step back so I can get some movement. It's in his head. It's in your forehead.
Okay.
Take it out of your forehead.
That kid didn't turn his head right when he did. That thing was going in his eye.
He's lucky.
That thing was going right in his eye, right? All right, now we got 2 more I want to play. One is I wrote Poor Guy. Let's do that one.
Okay, give me a second.
This poor guy built his children a swing set. Let's see how this goes for him. So Bartholomew says, hear me out, AI robots, but they become possessed by demons. So that's kind of what we're like. We were kind of flirting along with that idea. Like it's not that far off. Like, I mean, when you have an intelligence devoid of God, right? Like, look at even how human intelligence goes devoid of God. Like all these people that thought the Enlightenment was going to come and we were going to have this age of reason. So like we saw Dawkins the other day on Piers Morgan talking about biology, and he's like, there are 2 genders, and he was all frustrated. It's like, you idiot, like you created this mess. When you took God and convinced everybody there was no God, where did you think society was going to go? Like, you need religion.
Yep.
All right, let's see.
Baby. YOLO.
Oh, we go belly first.
You took the whole house.
He tipped the whole house. And then let's see what else I got. Hang on. You going to play the water slide? You can play the water slide. That was pretty funny.
Which one's the water slide? Oh, yeah, I got it.
Yeah, play the water slide. And then I do have one thing I was going to go over. Hang on. All right, go ahead. Play the water.
I got to go.
Now?
Yeah, I got to go now.
Go ahead.
I'll let you take it out.
Yeah, go ahead. All right. Let's hope that everything's all right with Rob. I don't know what happened there, but all right. We were going to cut this one short tonight anyway. I will update everybody on what happened with Rob if he'll share it. I'm not sure, but I know his son Iggy had an allergic reaction earlier where his eyes were really puffy and he broke out in a rash, so maybe that has something to do with it. But all right, I'm going to figure out how to do an outro. Let's see if I can do this. I don't even know if I can, guys. I don't know how this works. Let's see. That's not going to work. Let's see. This is why I'm a tech guy. Let's see. I see an intro. I see a train explosion. This isn't it, right? This work. I hate being on screen by myself. Let's see. I don't know, guys. This is not. This is how we're going out tonight, guys.
Trap ready to happen again. Look at it. We got a fire department out here again. Cause they always going down somewhere. Cause all on crackheads over there. Cause I had an accident, man. I hurt my homeboy, man. My homeboy got to go to the hospital. Cause look at this shit, cuz. Cuz we suing, cuz. Cuz we suing, cuz. We don't care, cuz. Cuz you going to hell, cuz. Look at them over there, cuz. Y'all going to hell, cuz. Look at them Backstreet Boys over there done had an accident, cuz. Look at the Backstreet Boys.